welcome to the Queen Trail Podcast.
There are 3 different types of radiation, alpha, beta, and gamma.
What does this technology do? It's like, well, what can you do with electricity?
I just survived 30 years HIV positive. I'm certainly not going to let a little thing like a brain tumor derail me.
When I got to 29 pounds, I was so tired, I just collapsed.
Everything always goes back to being grounded and centered.
It's a mecca for cycling, for sure.
Struggle is the neutralizing force.
And I said, there it is. This is the right family. I got like cold chills.
It's one lone oak tree right in the middle of the trail. It's beautiful.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you had a great week since the last time that we got together. We are back to Lists with Sofia. We are going to be going over 21 random things to ask a guy over text. It's a list that we found online and we thought it would be funny to try to answer these questions that are purportedly designed for males. I really don't think that the majority of these are male specific, except for one. Sophie and I had so much fun. We just kind of explored every single one of these questions, got really silly, and it was actually recorded the night before she left for New York. She went to New York for a week, had a great time. She's back. You're also going to hear that our cats were extremely active that night, and it might have been because they knew that Sophie was leaving, but you're going to hear cat wrestling as well as them basically being a big part of the episode. It's really funny when they decide to meow, and it sounds like they're meowing in response to whatever the conversation is. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So please grab a cuppa and join us. Hey everybody, we're back doing another Lists with Sofia.
Hi guys.
She's getting ready to go to New York.
Yeah, I'm super excited to go. Yeah, I'm going to be there for about a week. Going to Brooklyn and stuff.
It's going to be fun. No.
Sleep.
Till Brooklyn. Okay, we're going to get started on our list. Stop our terrible singing. I thought we would do a different type of list, and this one caught my eye. It is 21 random questions to ask a guy over text. So I thought, as girls, we'll answer these guy questions.
Yeah. Swap it.
Turn the tables. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what makes these guy questions, but let's start with the first one. What is your dream vehicle or a way to get around?
Well, my dream car would be a VW bus. I think they're really cool. I really like the classic car vibes. Or I really want one of those Jeep trucks. I call them trucks. They look so cool. They're the ugliest thing you've ever seen, but they look really cool. Either of those two. What about you?
I think my dream vehicle would be a personal pod-sized starship that I could just zoom around anywhere I want and go up so high into the stratosphere that I would just disappear. And it would be so fast that if I were to leave Los Angeles right now and head to New York, I'd be there in less than 5 minutes.
Like a teleportation?
No, it wouldn't be a teleportation. It would just be like the bullet, there's a bullet train and it goes probably
miles an hour.
Many, many miles an hour. I think it's in the hundreds. Okay, I had to look that up. So a bullet train does travel many hundred miles per hour. In fact, it goes 200 to 275 miles per hour, about 500 kilometers per hour or so. There is a bullet train, my personal size pod spaceship.
But it would be going faster.
Would be going faster. The vehicle...
Would you get G-forces in there?
I know.
Would you get knocked out because it's going so fast?
Yeah. So
Dunk.
The vehicle would be equipped with anti-G-force technology to keep me from passing out on the way out there. So my pod it would get there like maybe in an hour.
Yeah.
And, you know, it would have all the amenities too. Like, it would have an instant coffee maker, instant tea, cocktails, whatever you want.
Candy snack bar.
Yeah.
An ice cream maker.
No, I don't really like ice cream.
Like in Star Trek where they put the food in
the holodeck.
No. Where they put the food in the thing and then it hydrates it and then you have like cheeseburgers.
I think like I would want nuts and I would have apples.
Ooh.
Oh, you know what? Like
oranges.
Tangelos. Yeah, I mean, like some oranges are good. But Tangelos specifically are such a phenomenal fruit. So anyway, it would have some snacks because, I mean, it's only an hour flight. And I would have a disco ball because I'd want like some cool light in there.
Some banging speakers.
Some banging speakers, some really good music. I'd be up in the dark.
Yeah, with just a bunch of lights.
Have my own personal rave in there. Yeah. Like, does that sound like a dream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would be my dream vehicle. Well, you know, ever since I watched XXX, the movie with Vin Diesel, that 1969 GTO, I think it's a 69, might be a 67, but
that's a nice car.
Is a very nice car. Mm-hmm. So if I had to have a terrestrial car, that would be it. What state or country would you live in if you could move there?
There's a lot of places, but I feel like I would have to say Costa Rica.
Pura vida.
Because it's nice and warm. See, I would say Europe, you know? Like, if saying South America or Central America, I'd be saying, like, France or Italy.
But it's not all nice and warm. I mean, we went there, and it was a serious tropical depression, outrageous storm, and it was really cool because we have no weather. So, remember when we went hiking? We went hiking in Altadena, and we're, like, marching up this mountain, and we see all these people dressed for snow weather coming down, and they're all, like, shivering and stuff. And I started chatting with these guys and they're telling me that there's snow flurries up at the top of the mountain and it started hailing on us.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're like the kind of people that will run out into the hail and get super excited about it.
I would also say Canada. I don't know. Every time I see people hanging out in Canada and like Toronto, it looks really cool. Yeah, that's the only thing is I don't really like snow, so...
How do you know?
I mean, I haven't been in snow for very long, but I did cry because I got wet, so...
Yeah, but
I was
how old
12,
were you?
But I really don't like being wet. But I also went to London, but it didn't snow there when I was there, so... It wasn't even really cold. I don't like being wet. Especially with my, like, clothes on. Like, if you have an umbrella.
There you go, see?
Snow's a different thing, though. You gotta get, like, tires, or you gotta, like, get some snow boots. Like, you gotta buy a whole wardrobe, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, some of those are cool, those parkas with all of the fur around.
Cool. When I was in London, they had such cool coats, and I was so jealous. I mean, I also had a cool coat, but...
You did have a cool coat.
What about you?
If I moved anywhere, I think Costa Rica is probably one of those places just because we've been there, and I really loved that town, Salcedo. So Salcedo has alpine vibes in a tropical country, and they're known for their cheese making. And they have this church there. There's a caretaker. He is the topiary keeper. I think they're Jupiters. I think they're junipers. And I'm still on my little spaceship pod. I'm going to develop this. They're juniper bushes, and he goes out there and he turns them into bears.
Elephants, people.
It's very alpine-y. So there's that. And I think if I was going to move anywhere else besides Costa Rica outside of the United States, I would probably be choosing a place like New Zealand.
Yeah.
Scotland or Ireland, or those places look so incredible. Wherever I go, it would have to be a place where there's not as dense of a population as there is in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Los Angeles is phenomenal and it's filled with a lot of really amazing people, but the density of population kind of makes it difficult to get around. I mean, clearly on the freeways, like, forget it. When they're, like rush hour, you just can't do the 405 or the 110 or anything like that. You can't do any of the freeways.
Yeah.
And I think that really because of social media, a lot of my favorite hiking spots are inundated with people. Like, I remember pre-social media being able to go hiking in these very clean, beautiful places, and it would be pretty desolate. Now, when we went to Eaton Canyon, like I made that comment, I think there's more people here today than there are at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And, you've got people showing up because they want to see these beautiful places because people are posting pictures.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going totally off topic. People are starting to put comparisons up. Like, here's the beautiful picture that looks so pristine and like nobody's around. And then they'll expand it and go, here's the real picture. And there's a line of people just trying to get up to be able to take their perfect picture to share it with the world.
It's funny because I've seen a lot of videos about, I don't know what fountain it is in Italy, but it's extremely like...
Probably the Trevi.
Yes. I've seen videos of people saying that, like, you need to get there at 6 a.m. or before because they show videos of, like, what it looks like after that time, and there's a million people there. And the only way that you can get photos is if you're extremely early or extremely late, like 1, 2 a.m. And it's like because these places are so popular because of the people that are going there, which is like kind of ironic, And that's why a lot of people like gatekeep or like don't share locations of things because they want to keep it like secret. Like they'll be like, oh, this hidden beach, it's right here in Southern California. Here's how to get there, And then you have a million people going there because it's not a secret anymore.
Right.
Because it gets 3 million views on TikTok. Like, and if people are like, oh, I'm going there, like I live right there, It's their own success is their ultimate downfall. Which happens to a lot of things.
I think I'd have to totally live somewhere that is not as dense. But it's not just Los Angeles. It's any place that is now considered a tourist destination.
Or like even a unique place. Like, oh, this is different than what you normally see. Like you'll see a million people there.
Right. What do you spend money on the most?
I was actually looking at my bank. And it tells you what you spend the most money on. And so this month I spent the most money on clothes. And then after that was food. So
yeah,
I think it was food first and then clothes, but yeah.
Food's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't live without it. Yeah. But also, I think if Alexa was here, so Alexa is Sophie's bestie, and she's constantly pointing out how bougie our taste is, and I never think that we have bougie taste. We don't really go out and do any extravagant stuff. Like, we don't really own name brand anything.
Yeah.
Somehow we still have the reputation of being bougie. But also, I've been told that I know how to live. So I think that that's probably the translation. I don't think we're really bougie, but we know how to take something simple and make it seem extravagant. You know.
Well, also it's like if I'm gonna have something a bit higher quality, like I'll spend the money, because it's like how often,
it's about the experience.
Yeah, it's about the experience. It's about how it tastes, like how it's presented,
how unique it is.
Like, yeah.
I guess that makes us bougie. The fact that it's about the experience.
Yeah, I also eat stuff from Starbucks, so
we balance it. We balance it out.
So it's one of those things where it's like yeah.
What do I spend the most amount of money on? I'm just really not a spender. I'm really boring. I'm gonna have to say, because I haven't gone on my bank account in a while, that it is probably food first, because I tend to buy the majority of the groceries and stuff, although we've been pretty even on evening that out quite a bit lately. Mm-hmm. And then gas.
Yeah.
I really think that's
my
it.
Third most expensive thing.
And then the cats are expensive, and the tortoise is expensive.
Yeah.
So I would have to say food, gas, pets. I mean, like, what else is there in life,
Clothes.
What was the last time that you played a sport? Okay, let's just say, what was the last time that you engaged in an extracurricular activity?
I worked out this morning. I'm not extremely active, so...
It's been a while for me because of my knee. I would say if hiking is a sport, what else did I do regularly? I mean, I snorkeled. I was doing a lot of stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, roller skating. I mean, there was like a lot of stuff that I was doing. Jump roping, I was doing high-intensity interval training. I've got a VersaClimber, weights. There's a dip station. I've got a pull-up bar. Trampoline. Running on the trampoline because I don't have a treadmill. Our whole house shakes. We live in a very old house. I think it was completed in 1938. So I did have a treadmill at one time, and the entire house shook. And even when the cats are running, just kind of running across, the house will shake. So I have the trampoline instead of a treadmill, and that's what I run on.
Yeah, I also did some Nintendo Sports a few days ago. It's like Wii Sports, but on the Switch. So, bowling, tennis. Apparently I was really bad. Alexa made fun of me. Best friend. She's like, how did you lose to a robot? And I'm like, I don't know. I literally didn't get any points during tennis. That was bad. But I really liked the bowling, and there was a soccer one, so that was pretty fun.
Cool. I have not bowled in ages.
I also walked around Disneyland, so that was a workout.
Yeah, I think now we're talking about workouts instead of sports because,
I don't do sports.
For some big Disney fans, walking around Disneyland is a sport. Riding the roller coasters is definitely a sport.
God, my body hurts so bad. My arms hurt.
Yeah, a day at an amusement park.
That's a workout.
Especially when it's hot. Like, it's been hot
it was
lately.
It was 90 degrees when we were there.
Yeah.
So, it was like a sport, extracurricular activity.
Riding horses. It's been quite a while. That was a sport you actually rode for many years. Like
12.
You started when you were like 4. And you stopped when you were 18.
Yeah, like 14 years.
Like 14 years, yeah. Do you like surprises?
I'm not opposed to them, but I do like knowing things, so... I think if someone is like, oh, I have a surprise for you, it's like I want to know what it is. But like if I don't know that I'm getting surprised, then that's okay too. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh my god, you threw me a surprise party? I hate you, like... But like if someone's like, oh,
Are there people like that?
Yeah, there's some people that are like upset that they got surprised. You've ever seen those like surprise fail videos where they're like, oh my god, like,
How dare you?
Some people get really upset. But like... If someone's like, oh, I have a surprise for you, it's like I want to know immediately what it is. But I'm also not, like, pushy about it. But I'm like, what is it? Like, tell me, Or it's like if someone's like, oh, I have a secret to tell you. And I'm like, what? Like, tell me right now. Like, I'll get up and go to the bathroom with you. Like,
don't tell me that you have something and then make me wait.
Or, you know what? I used to have a friend where she'd be like, oh, do you know John? And I'd be like, oh, I don't know John. And she'd be like, oh, never mind. That... It makes me so mad,
Oh my god. Yeah. I don't really remember the last time I was surprised.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a surprise party.
How's
or like
that?
No one showed up at my house unexpectedly.
Yeah, because they usually...
I guess.
Can't... Oh my gosh.
My
You're
brother
right.
did. I was just at home and he showed up and I was like, oh, what the heck?
That was a surprise. And then you called me at work and you said, guess who's here? And I was wrong every time. And you finally said, Cameron's here. And I was just like, oh my baby's home. Yeah, that was actually a very good surprise. That was a very wonderful surprise. Oh, I skipped one. What do you absolutely hate spending money on? I think there's certain things I hate spending money on, like necessities, like stuff that I absolutely have to have. Like toilet paper and paper towels and napkins.
Like boring things.
Yeah. And because they're necessities, they're expensive AF.
I mean, it makes me mad when I lose something and then I have to rebuy it. Like, I lost my wireless headphones somewhere, and I was so upset because I only had them for, 3 months, and I had to repurchase them. That made me really mad. But, that's my fault, because I lost them, so... But that's a thing that I hate, is, losing something and then having to repurchase it for the full price.
Or anything that, you're in a rush and you don't have time to go where you can get exactly what you want.
Yeah, where you have to settle for something because you only have like an hour to get something. Yeah. It's not like exactly what you want, but it's like the closest thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? I like surprises. Let's go back to the surprises. I feel like gifts are surprises. Yeah. That's why they're wrapped, right?
Yes, the whole reason.
I would rather just get a big giant hug sometimes than some of the gifts that I've received. Mm-hmm. You know, like some gifts make you feel like the person felt obligated to buy you something that you're never going to use. And I think it's happened to everybody.
Like if you really if we aren't close, but you feel like you need to give me something, like I'd rather have a gift card or money.
No, I have gift cards that are just sitting around. That's the other thing. I think that was a re-gift. And I don't mind.
There's certain things that you get and you're like, I think someone gave this to you and now you're giving it to me. I would not give someone a gift that doesn't suit them. Like I'd rather keep the gift and not give it to anybody than give someone something that doesn't suit them.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That's the surprise. It's like, I got the booby prize. And I don't mind re-gifts. It's just that this $75 gift card has been sitting for at least 3 years at this point. Because the restaurant requires like 3 freeways to get to.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it. It's not a destination place. So those are the surprises that I don't like. And it's not because I don't appreciate the fact that somebody gave me something. Thank you for thinking of me. But also, there's a sense of obligation that goes along with a gift. So you're being given, 1, a surprise, 2, an obligation to somehow make use of it. It's like hot potato, here, this is yours. And if it's something wonderful, like you like the earrings or you like that shade of lipstick or you like the chocolates that they gave you or whatever it is, great. But if it's something that makes you feel guilty and is sitting there like every time you go past it, you know what? I think there's a website. I'm going to have to find out. If I find out what it is, I'll put it in the show notes where you can put up your gift card and say, hey, I've got this gift card for $75 to this restaurant.
Trading. Like
it's a trade. It's a trade thing. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure how it works, and there might be a percentage that the website keeps, but you're giving it to somebody who actually, will use it and you're getting something in return. So that makes it better. The question here was, what's a pickup line that you've used before? And I can see why this is very male specific. I don't think that most women or girls have pickup lines that they practice. And also it's kind of an old fashioned question, right? I don't even know if this is a thing for guys, but it just caused us to go into a really long conversation. So I just chose a section of it to include here. I think that we should get more comfortable with just talking to each other. I think that natural. A pickup is based on expectations. Like you form an idea of somebody without even knowing who they are. Clearly you're picking somebody up. The only reason why you're coming up with a pickup line is because they're hot. But I think that natural conversation is just hard. I think it's hard for a lot of people. And, clearly it comes very easy to me. And you live in Los Angeles, which I just mentioned the density of the population. It's weird because the population is so huge and that gets in the way.
It almost makes it harder
of being able to meet somebody.
Yeah.
There's actually a name for being so overwhelmed by the sheer number, by the choices that you have. And then, of course, there's all of these other influences that come in by comparison, expectations, we need to spend more time talking to each other. I just don't think it happens enough. And we're all so busy. I think it's hard.
Yeah.
What are your favorite memories or moments that you've had with your grandparents? Something that particularly stands out.
Playing with bubbles in my grandma's backyard. I feel like being in her backyard is a very vivid memory. Like we would pick oranges and eat
kumquats
and spit the seeds out, and I would garden with her. I feel like that's like a really vivid memory, you know?
Mm-hmm. Even though my mom's parents were married to each other, I have different memories that are associated with each one of them. So my grandmother would probably be like baking cakes. She was like such a great baker. You know, she loved to cook a lot of things, but I think she was most famous for her pastries or her sweets. You know, we're making tamales with her, which is not sweet. You know, that was a lot of fun. She had a meat grinder. She would grind the meat and then cook that and add all these spices and everything to it. And she would grind the hominy through it as well, after cleaning it thoroughly, of course. And I think she did the hominy first anyway, because she used the hominy to make the masa. And then she would cook all of these different ingredients and put them all in different bowls. Costa Rican tamales are wrapped in banana leaves instead of corn husks, so they have a very different flavor to them. And then she would give us banana leaves and let us make our own tamales. So that was always a lot of fun. My grandfather liked to take us places, walking distance places, or he'd get us on our bikes and go around the block with us. He died when I was much younger than when my grandmother passed away. You were already born. I think you were like 5 or 6 maybe when Mamita passed away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I vaguely remember her.
Yeah. So anyway, the memories that I have of my grandfather was... God, cats rolling in here fighting with each other. You guys are fighting like cats and cats. So, you know, like walking around the block with him, going to Thrifties when Thrifties still sold ice cream. I think...
They still do, don't they?
They still do. But it's not Thrifties anymore. It's Rite Aid now. But it's Thrifties ice cream. It's still Thrifties brand ice cream. Yeah. So I remember all of that kind of stuff with my grandfather. And then my dad's mom, my memories of her are that she always, without fail, had a kind word and this sunshiny smile. I mean, like, she was one of the happiest people, and she was always looking out for everybody. She was just a dear. Like, she loved life and she loved people. Mm-hmm. I don't even understand how these are guy questions, but I imagine a guy would answer no to this one. Do you take many photos?
Yeah, I take a lot. I take a lot of mirror selfies and pictures of the sky. Also pictures of my cats.
Would you say that you take a photo every day? Like, how
100%.
How many photos do you take per day?
Average?
Yes.
I would say probably at least 10 per day. I also use Snapchat, so that's not mainly photo-based, but like photo-based. Even if it's not a Snapchat photo, I take normal photos on my camera app. I would say about 10 a day. But if I'm like doing something, it could be upwards of 100 photos, depending on, you know, like I just went to Disneyland and I have like 70 photos from that. So, you know, it depends, but average, probably 10.
I think when I'm super busy, like I am, you know, just really focused on work and stuff, I'm not taking pictures. Today, I have not taken a single photo, but I am also a huge photo taker. And I think one of the things that I dislike of podcasting, I don't really like editing. Also, I have ADD. So I think part of it is that I get distracted, but part of my procrastination is to take photos. Especially like if Echo's sitting on my shoulder, then I'm taking a selfie of the two of us.
Yeah, having pets, you take so many photos of pets. Like, it's ridiculous.
They're so cute. They're always doing something cute.
They're always so cute. Like even now, she's just sitting there, but
she looks like a little flower.
Her tail is extremely straight. Like it's funny, you know. Yeah, we're talking about.
You know, like I'll take pictures of the animals. Oh, what happens on a hike with me?
Yeah, she takes pictures of every tree, flowers, bunnies, the sky.
Everything. Yeah. Everything's so wondrous. I just want to preserve it on a photograph. I think part of the reason why I take so many photos is I know I can take 10 photos of something and pick the one that I really like. And because it's all digital, you just delete the other 9.
I also kind of like the idea of film, though. The idea where you take one photo and it has to be a great photo, you know? So you spend more time thinking about what you're taking a picture of.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I think we're both actual photographers. We had a sweet potato that was growing. And so I did this whole still life arrangement with it. It was beautiful. Purple leaves, purple stems. It's just phenomenal. And it just struck me as a piece of art. So I did this whole artsy photo shoot of this potato. Yeah, you know, stuff like that where it's like you get to be creative. You get to create art. So I don't know. Maybe I need to take that back. I don't know. You don't know what the guys are going to say. Mm-hmm. And I think that with the availability of being able to take all kinds of photos, I think a better question would be when you have the availability of a camera at your disposal, whether it's your phone camera or your professional camera, what are you taking pictures of? So, I'm taking pictures of nature. But I'm actually arranging still life. I'm taking forced perspective from the cats, trying to get their attention. Cats are funny. They actually know that you're trying to take a picture of them and they don't want to look at your camera. At least our cats don't. So we have all these little tricks. What apps do you use the most?
Well, the funny thing is that I've now for the past 2 or 3 months put timers on my apps. Because I spend way too much time on my phone. So the apps that I have timers for are TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Each of those I have 2 hours per day to do whatever I want, and then they lock themselves.
So is this consecutive 2 hours or all together?
2 hours each.
Oh, it's 2 hours each.
Yeah.
So
6 hours of media per day. But I also obviously have other apps that I...
So that's a quarter of the time allotted to you each day. You could dedicate.
Yeah, so I could technically spend
media.
2 hours on Instagram, 2 hours on TikTok, 2 hours on Twitter, which is 6 hours of my day. So that's definitely cut down my use because of that. But
that's good that you're aware, though, that you're aware of
it was
the
really
time
bad,
suck.
Because you can look at how long you've spent on each app per week, and it's it would be 16 hours per week that I would spend on either TikTok or Instagram.
Oh my God.
TikTok's
like a full-time job.
Really bad. If I try not to click on that app. That's an app that I know, when I click
it's
on
the black hole.
It's I'm going to be sitting here for 2 hours. I'm not even going to realize how long it's been. It's just, yeah. So I would say TikTok, Instagram, and then YouTube.
I have a couple questions about that, actually.
Yeah.
Has your viewing on any of those apps improved the quality of your life in any way? Has it benefited you in any tangible way?
I would say yes. I would say I learn a lot of things. I definitely laugh a lot. I would say they make me happy. There's also times, especially Twitter, that makes me depressed. And if you don't have a Twitter, I would suggest not getting one because that app is like a black hole.
Twitter's really problematic with that.
You'll be like, oh my God, this is such a funny tweet. And then the next tweet will be something genuinely horrendous. And you're like, I wish I would have never known this knowledge. There's also hidden tweets. Never click on them. No. Don't.
Last night was the first time that I went on Twitter and the random stuff that just automatically comes up when you go on there.
Yeah.
It's the first time that the random video that came up was amazing. It was of an elephant giving birth in Africa. You could see that there were other elephants around and she had the baby and immediately it was kind of like a slight hill. So the baby tumbled a little bit and she walked over and the baby was struggling because it literally was 30 seconds,
Yeah.
I've only been alive for a minute, Mom. Hold on. Give me time. And then you see all of these elephants, which had to have been female because the elephant society is matriarchal. All of these female elephants just came over and surrounded this little baby with their trunks. Were kind of helping to clean it off and stuff. It made me tear up because it was just so maternal and natural and caring. And I'm like...
And that's the thing about social media. It's like whiplash. You know, like you'll see something that like, it's like, oh my God, this is like the best thing I've ever seen. And then the next post, it's like, I didn't think that it could get this bad. You know, like it's one of those things where it's like, I do think there is a benefit, but a lot of the times I'm like, why? Like, why?
I either will think this is completely inane. I have absolutely no use for this, and neither does anybody else in the world. You know, like, we need this as much as fish need land.
Yeah.
Or that is so horrifying. I have to get off of this immediately.
Yeah, there's some things that I see that I'm like, I'm closing the app now. Like,
or, you know, scrolling past this. Like, yeah, like you said, it is. It's polarized a lot of times, or it's just really dumb stuff. But I do like the comedy that's in there, you know, like some of the sayings, some of the quotes that come up are just so hilarious, ironic, like it's true wit. And you're just like, that's so damn funny. Yeah. Or it's like, I just want to sit here and spend 5 minutes just laughing at stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's the best thing about the internet is that we created memes, which are essentially pop cultural references in and of themselves, and that's like you'll see them over and over again, and you're like, oh, I understand the joke because I was like there in the beginning, and now like you can see like the evolution of memes, and people make fun of like early memes, and it's like funny, and it's like it all comes back full circle, and it's like if you understand, then you understand, and you're kind of part of this community.
If you know, you know. Facebook, because so many of my friends are on Facebook. Instagram. Those are like the two. I mean, a little bit of TikTok, a little bit of Twitter. I don't really go on Twitter very much.
Did you use any other apps on your phone? Like, they don't have any social
Snapchat.
media.
Other apps that I use, I've got a couple of photo editing apps where you can, you know, really like color edit, or I just put a picture up today where I added stars and erase the background. So, you know, artsy stuff where you can turn your photos into art. I will use my voice recorder. I use iNaturalist quite a bit if I don't know what a plant or a bug is. I use a note-taking app, Spotify, YouTube, Waze.
Like today, my most used apps, I spent an hour and 30 minutes on Netflix, an hour and 2 minutes on Instagram, and 29 minutes on YouTube. So, I mean,
and Netflix, are you watching Netflix on your phone, or is that net? Oh, you are?
Yeah, so
okay.
This is like anything that I've...
Phone-specific apps. Yeah. Okay. But see, you do that. Like, you'll watch sitcoms on your phone while you're doing things.
Yeah.
I don't. Like I listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Also, Spotify I use a lot, but obviously that's not a screen time app. That's a audio app, so it's not like...
So it's not
I don't spend a lot of screen time looking at Spotify, but it's in, like, you know, I play music all the time, so... That's also an app that I use a lot, but I don't limit that because...
You can live life while listening to music.
You can't... like TikTok and Instagram, you have to be actively scrolling through there. But
or you're going to be walking and end up in the fountain like so many people.
I do feel like having the timer on it makes me think about what I'm consuming a little bit more, because I'm like, oh, do I really want to waste my precious 2 hours watching reels? Some of that stuff is so stupid, you know? Like, it's just like, I don't need to be looking at this right now, and I'll close the app, because I know that when it's, you know, nighttime and I want to be scrolling, I'll be upset that I closed this app out at 10 o'clock in the morning. I won't be able to look at it till later.
So it's made you more mindful of the content that you're consuming.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 hours on each one of these apps that you talked about. Has it resulted in you using it for a lot less time?
Yeah. Well, other than TikTok, because that's just genuinely a mind suck. Hole. But yeah, like Twitter, like I only follow so many people on there, and once I start getting back around to the things that I already liked previously, I'm like, I don't need to go looking through the other features, like the trending page and like stuff like that, because I'm already like, oh, well, I've gotten to my limit, and now I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you just do impulsively?
Apparently I sigh a lot. My coworker at work told me that I sigh a lot.
Does that totally make you so self-conscious when somebody pinpoints something that you do?
Yeah, and also my best friend asked a new friend of ours if I like I hold up my arms kind of like a T-Rex, and I was like,
I don't think you do.
What? And she's like, yeah, you're always like...
No, you do not. You do not. Do not start getting a complex over
And I was
that.
like, huh, but then I noticed I was doing it at work, and then I was like, slowly, like, put my arm down. But I sigh a lot, but I think that's because I have anxiety, and I also talk really fast, and...
You run out of air.
I run out of air. And also, especially at work, because I'm talking to people, it's, like, kind of a stressful thing, so I have to be like...
But it's good to fill your lungs with air every once in a while.
People think that you're sighing because you're depressed or, like, upset, or, like, you're, like... you know, like, oh my god, like, I just had to talk to somebody. But I'm not sighing for any of those reasons.
So you're sighing to kind of gather your thoughts.
And breathe.
That's
your
your
like,
action.
Literally can't. Like, I'll forget to breathe. Like, honestly, like, I start coughing. And I'm like, why am I coughing? And I'm like, you know, like... like, I'm either too focused or too anxious, and I stop breathing, and then I start coughing. So...
But that's not impulsive. That's, you know, that whole entire area of your brain that just automatically kicks in to make sure that you survive.
Like an impulsive thing. Like being impulsive.
I'm trying to think of what I'm impulsive about. I think I'm impulsive about a lot of stuff. I just, of course, because the question came up, I have absolutely no idea. Okay, when I go to a restaurant and I see Brussels sprouts on the menu, that's it. Like, that's what I'm having for dinner. It's like, you have roasted Brussels sprouts and garlic bread. That's what I want for dinner. And I just will not look at the rest of the menu because it's like...
Why? I feel like I'm... Well, I don't know if it's impulsivity. But if I'm ever told that there's a sale going on, and if I have to buy one and get one half off, I'll do it.
That's impulsive.
Like, I literally, like, I was told that if I bought one shirt, I would get one 30% off, and I spent 20 minutes in the store trying to find another shirt that I liked.
I've done that, and it's like, oh my god. But now I'm
thinking of returning the shirt because I don't even want it because it was $50, so...
Well, I mean, I've done that where I didn't even really love the first shirt.
So I don't know if that's an impulsive thing, or if that's just like a mind trickery from the store.
I think it's impulsive.
You know?
I think it's both. I mean, it doesn't have to be exclusively one or the other. I think it's both. My photo taking during hikes, that is complete impulsivity. I literally will be like, you guys go on. I will run 5 miles and catch up to you and trip over tree roots and shit so I could take this picture of this perfect little mushroom that's growing underneath this fern in the right light. There's a lot of stuff that I'm impulsive about.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of it is like training, you know?
Was I trained to take photographs in the middle of forests?
Yeah, because you post them online and then you get likes and then it makes you feel happy.
I did it before there was even social media. I mean,
because you can show people and they go, oh wow, that's a beautiful photo. I'm just saying that like I feel like a lot of things that I think are impulsive are just trained behavior.
I don't know that it's 100% trained. That like if somebody tells me there's a really good book that they read.
Oh, I have one. If someone tells me not to do something, the likelihood that I'm going to do it is the opposite. Yeah. Like, if someone's like, no, don't do that. I'm like, I'm going to, you know? Which I would say that's impulsive.
Okay, so this is asking, have you ever bought something from a late night shopping commercial?
No, but I've been gifted. I got a bump it, whatever they were called. The little hair things that you put under your hair so it goes up.
I think that you got gifted these things that are from late night shopping commercials because it's from people who are of the generation that would be the audience for those late night shopping commercials. So I think that the correct question is, have you ever bought anything from a social media ad?
I mean, probably. I've definitely clicked on them, say that much. I've probably been influenced.
That deodorant that I have. I got the tube. I had the stick.
The pinky one?
I forget what it's called. They had such fun ads for it. And I ended up ordering some. And it actually works.
Yeah. Well, I think with most of that stuff is that I'm scared that I'm going to get scammed because of the amount of scams that are out there. Like, there was this huge scandal with these YouTubers where they were saying that they were selling these like $60 brushes for $12, and then everyone was like, this is a drop shipping company. And then that YouTuber made a video and was like, well, you're paying $12, so what did you think you were gonna get? So like, I'm
did
very
they end
cautious.
up getting was there a lawsuit associated with, because I know
Probably.
this is worse probably than that. I'm not sure. Or I might be comparing apples to oranges, I should say. I don't know that one is worse than the other, but they were selling their product as American made, but it was all being made in China. And when the product got here, they were removing the made in China tags and sewing in made in America tags. And they are in big trouble right now for swapping that out. I think it's kind of like, like those tags that are on your mattress or your pillows that say, tag not to be removed by anyone but the purchaser or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's just like a lot of stuff like that, and then people will find out like, oh, this is like really, really bad. Yeah, there's a lot of like scamming, so I think I've definitely clicked on advertisements and been like, oh my god, that's so pretty, but I don't think I've ever gone through and purchased them because I'm scared. I also don't want my like card information going anywhere. Like that's also, sometimes those websites are a little shady.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm okay.
I'll click on them, and if it's something that I really want, that I had never before known until that moment, and now all of a sudden I want it, I will open up another tab and do a little bit of research on the company or what the product is. Like, a lot of times you could get it for a fraction of the cost off of Amazon, and if you have a Prime account, then of course you have a 30-day money-back guarantee on it, free shipping and whatnot. So there was a ring that was on one of those sites that was, you can manipulate it. And it was just kind of cool. It was just like a total fidget thing. I don't know. I don't even know why I wanted it, but I did. And they were selling it for like slashed from $90 down to $19.99. And then I ended up on Amazon and it was like $8.99. So I threw it on some order and I was like, if I don't like it, I'll send it back. But I ended up keeping it. I never wear it. But it's a cool ring because it's like 3 rings in one, and you can turn it into like this cool ball and, put it on the table and spin it like a top type of thing. It's just like so dumb.
Are there any music questions or no?
No. What would you enjoy doing if you were on vacation in Italy?
The canals. Going in the ocean. Eating some gelato. Walking around. I don't know. It's pretty historic over there, so I think walking around would be pretty cool. Having some pasta.
Oh my god. We went to this amazing restaurant. I don't remember the name now. I might remember at some other point. I think it's the ingredients that are over there, but that pasta was to die for. But now I was about to say that pasta specifically was to die for, but everything was like just the butter. You could eat a whole freaking stick of butter because it was so good. Whatever the processing process is, it's different. Everything tastes richer and just so much more flavorful. I would probably go to places I haven't been. So, like I've been to Florence and Venice, and
going to Milan would be kind of cool.
I have not been to Milan. I haven't been to Rome. Stuff. I was in Belluno, which was beautiful. I would probably want to go back to Belluno and explore a little bit more because it's right on the Dolomite Alps. And I would want to do more nature things because when I was there, I was mostly in the cities and the museums and looking at the architecture and walking the canals and that sort of thing. But I think I would want to go on some beautiful countryside walks.
In
Italy? Malamocco?
Malamocco? The island of Lido de Venezia? It's in
Malamaco Island of the Lido di Venezia, Italia. Okay, so there's one in Italy. Why were we talking about that? We took a break here in between that.
I don't know. Cat Island.
Okay, last one. What is your favorite sweet treat?
Depends on the vibes. Because, like, I could say boba. Like a boba drink. It's really good.
Ew.
That's why I get it with my friends. But I really like tiramisu. That's pretty good.
My favorite sweet treat.
I don't know. I mean, we were just talking about thumbprint cookies. Those are pretty good. The chocolate ones.
I think my favorite sweet treats are the ones that I find a recipe for and make myself, because I'll cut the sugar by like a third. And then I throw other stuff in there that's going to elevate the flavor of whatever I'm making. So I don't have a specific sweet treat. I really don't. Like, I don't have a go-to sweet.
Yeah.
Do I?
I mean, I'm pretty sporadic. I don't know. I like ice cream. I like cookies. I like brownies. But, like...
I don't even remember the last time I had a brownie.
Honestly, it's probably been a year. I'm not gonna lie. I only have brownies if other people buy brownies, so I have no clue the last time I bought a brownie is. Well, when I had a brownie, because I don't buy them. But, like, I won't not eat them, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind them. Yeah. But I also like pies. Like, I don't know. I don't, like... It depends on the mood. It depends on the season. It depends what's available. Also donuts, but, like, the last time I had a donut, it's probably also been a year. Like, I don't buy donuts for myself, you know? But also you could say that a Starbucks is a sweet drink, and I buy those a lot, so I guess...
A Starbucks is a sweet drink most of the time.
I usually get, if you want my order...
What is your order?
It's a grande matcha green tea, iced, with 2 pumps of chai and 2 pumps of brown sugar syrup, and it tastes like a graham cracker. It's very good. But if you don't want the pumps of brown sugar, it tastes kind of earthy and it's kind of nice. With oat milk all the way.
You want to know what my go-to Starbucks drink is? You ready for it? Large nitro cold brew.
But also their cold brew is very good. I usually put sugar in it.
No,
why? I don't like black coffee. A cold brew with cold foam and some vanilla or some brown sugar syrup and a splash of oat milk. It's very good. The sweet cream is actually really good. I tried it for the first time recently. It's really good.
I literally can't with the sacrilege.
So I guess technically my sweet treat would be my Starbucks order every 3 to 5 business days. I guess that's my go-to. Everything else I can go years in between having, but...
You know what lately has been my sweet treat? A giant medjool date.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes I'll put pecans in there or some almonds in there or something like that.
Pretty much I won't turn up my nose at anything sweet, is what I'm saying. I will eat it if it's there, if it's offered to me. But usually I'm not buying it unless it's Starbucks. Now I want a cold brew.
A nitro
it's like
cold
9
brew?
o'clock at night. I'm like, cold brew sounds good.
Yeah, you don't need a nitro cold brew at 9 o'clock at night. Here's one more. Would you ever eat bugs?
Yeah. I'm not opposed to it.
Okay, how would you actually eat them? How would you prepare them?
I feel like they need to be crunchy. Like, I probably could eat crickets like popcorn, you know? Like, I don't know how you prepare bugs. Like, do you have to, like, cut them up? Do you have to, like, you know, like, sprinkle them on top? Like, are they, like, you know, like bacon bits, you know? But, like,
yeah, some of them
bits?
are.
I don't know. I think it depends on the bug. I feel like I would have someone prepare it, you know? Because I don't really eat meat, but, like, bugs is a different thing. So I guess if they were crunchy.
I might try it because I do get FOMO. So it's like somebody prepared this. There's my impulsivity because I do feel FOMO over stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but I also get...
Soup offered you a
Soup told me that I need to go to Thailand with him, and when we go, we're going to eat tarantula. I will have a little leg. I've made up my mind about that. I think I'm going to have high anxiety over it, but I've made up my mind.
I think if I was offered bugs and it was the right situation, I would probably taste them.
Remember when we went to that bug show? at the Natural History Museum, and they had the bug chef out there.
Yeah.
He made pasta with mealyworms.
Mealyworms are one of those things that I would not eat. They look disgusting.
Yeah.
Crickets, I think I'd be okay with. Ants,
he made
I guess I'd be okay
night
with.
crawler tacos.
Tarantulas I probably would eat.
He did do a tarantula.
I wouldn't really eat like a beetle. I don't know. I feel like that's a little weird, but... Or a butterfly.
They made margaritas sprinkled with ants.
But I don't, like, can you clean bugs? Like, can you put them in, like, a little colander and wash them?
I have no idea.
Like, I don't really know how you wash
I don't
bugs,
know.
But there's also bugs in your candy bars, so I guess that's, like, technically, yes, we've all...
I know.
them.
There's a certain number of bugs that are allowed in products. And, I remember one time one of my friends' dads cleaned out their cabin and brought back the food that was in the kitchen. And we grabbed macaroni and cheese and made it for ourselves. And I don't know, we were probably 3 or 4 spoonfuls deep into it. And all of a sudden somebody was like, is this a bug? And then we're looking in our macaroni and cheese and we're having mac and cheese and bugs. Which really sucked. That kind of really...
Yeah, I guess if you're not expecting it, I'd be very upset.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was a willing participant and understood they were in there, and if it was the right... Like, if some random stranger on the corner was like, hey, you want to have some bugs? But I think, like, if I was in a situation...
I think if a random stranger on a corner asked me if I wanted anything, I would be like, GTFO. Oh my God. Sophie.
I feel like that would be a thing that a random stranger on a corner would ask you. You want any bugs? Hey, got any grapes? Like the meme-a-rooney.
Okay, cool. Anything else that you want to add before you jet off to New York?
No, I'm very excited about the Big Apple.
Yeah.
I want to hear all the accents.
You gonna come back with one?
Yeah. Hey, I'm walking here, like the day of my daughter's wedding.
You gonna go order a pie?
Yeah. Get a cup of coffee.
What are you gonna do while you're there?
We're gonna go to Brooklyn.
There's no t at the end of Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
Alexa told me I add too many T's at the end of my words.
No sleep till Brooklyn.
Well, it's like Toronto. Brooklyn. We're going to Times Square. We're gonna go to the Met. We're gonna go to the Whitney Museum. We're gonna go to the Skyline. We're gonna go get a bagel. Honestly, that's my only goal.
With schmear?
You
gotta have schmear on it.
If I get a bagel during the 7 days, I will be happy. Ellis Island and the
Statue of Liberty.
Yes, Statue of
the
Liberty.
lady.
You know that green lady that sits in the middle of the harbor? We're gonna go visit her.
Bring me, you're hungry, you're poor. Yeah, that lady.
Yeah, that lady. Yeah, the really important lady. Yeah. We're gonna go on a night cemetery walk. We're gonna go see 2 shows. We're gonna go see Beetlejuice and The Six. Those are both Broadway shows. Celebrate my cousin's birthday.
Cool.
We got a lot.
Noise.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. I love doing these lists with Sophia. She's such a crack up, but she's also so aware and disciplined and self-motivated over things that are going to increase her odds at success. I totally didn't know until this episode that she imposed time limits on herself for social media usage. And I sure didn't know about weird guys on corners that offer bug cuisine to people. Joking aside, I am just always so impressed by the level of focus and knowledge and definitely her confidence and wit that she always brings to conversations. I learn so much from her every single time, and she's just such a gem to me. As always, I'll post links about everything that we talked about in the show notes, and be sure to stay past the end credits. There are some bloopers on this one. Don't forget to send me your questions and suggestions. I read every one of them. And if you have a list that you would like Sophia and I to answer next time, be sure to send that to me. And also be sure to rate this episode. It only takes seconds, but your ratings do move this podcast closer to the top of searches so that my friends, Sophia and I, can reach more people. I'm looking forward to sharing more upcoming In the Company of Friends talks with you. So be sure to follow me on the socials and the .com, all at The Queen Trail Podcast. That's TheQuainTrelle podcast. I am Sil Annan, the Queen Trow, and until next time, I wish you passion, grace, adventure, bliss, excellent sweet treats, and even sweeter moments, elegance, and beauty.
And I was like, that's a crepe myrtle. And everyone was like, wow. And I was like, yeah.
You know, then the conversation ended and he was probably like, that was weird.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for other people's approval.
No, I mean, I'm like...
Why does everything come back to that?
I've never done that.
Whose child are you? Oh my god. Cool. You just sighed.